Welcome to Bass and Bonsai. We're back. 2018 is the first video of the year. What better way to start off than with the BFS shootout? So we got some reels here. I'm going to show you those real quick. All the videos you've seen up until now were made either just before or through 2017. This is the first 2018 video. We're starting it off with fishing, bait finesse system. Any of you don't know anything about that, might want to do a little Google research before you dive into getting your BFS rod and reel set up. It's basically a way to cast what you would normally throw small lures like crappie jigs, things like that, 16th ounce, even 8 ounce and smaller, for bass, perch, crappie, whatever you normally throw with a conventional spinning gear or some other way. But with BFS system, you can do it with bait casting setup. So today what we're going to be testing, now this isn't really a BFS reel. This one has the Race Studio DIY spool. These are Edo 103Ms. This is stock. This is a megabass with the megabass spool. This is daiwa, well, it's kind of an Edo megabass daiwa combination reel with the cosugi, however you pronounce that spool. This is the Revo Aurora 71, I believe, with aftermarket spool. I believe that is ZPI. It's not really a BFS spool, but we're going to try it out. This is just a stock spool and a stock MG Extreme 2. This is the TRV, and then this is the Ltx Bf8, which is probably my favorite overall BFS reel. And other than a few modifications to the looks, the performance is still just stock. It's got the stock spool with the magnets, and this is the one, if you remember my last year's videos, I keep talking about adding another magnet to it, and I haven't done that yet. So you can't cast it super hard or it will backlash on you. So anyway, I'm going to run through these. We're going to put them on the same rod, cast them out here, and this is the rod I'll use. Some of you guys have seen this one. I did an unboxing video, the Pagani Air Bamboo. This one, it says 6.6, 1/8 to 1 ounce. I've yet to throw anything probably close to a 1/2 ounce on it, but we'll probably throw a 1/2 ounce on it today. But this is a very nice rod, very capable of BFS fishing. Now the smallest I'm going to do, I'm going to keep it simple today. We're throwing, this is a 16th ounce crappie jig. This is what I throw when I fish for crappie, usually on spinning gear. I can throw it with my few of my BFS reels. This is, it's a kind of nasty worm, but that's basically what I use when I'm shaky head fishing. I use a 16th ounce jig head with a 7-inch. This is actually a Z-Man material, so it stretches, and the actual weight will be over a 1/16 of an ounce. But we're going to go that. Basics on what we're doing. I'm going to get everything lined up and we're going to start going. I guess real quick I'll show you the field. I'm going to be standing, the field of play anyway. It's just the front yard. I'm going to be standing here and we're going to be casting out this way. We're not going to hit the beast. We're going to try to miss the windshield. We don't want to replace that. I'm going to try to cast straight out this way. I've walked it off, you know, just by putting one foot in front of the other. From here, you get to about 55 feet where the white line starts on this side of the road, and it's about 65 in the middle, close to it, and then 75 when you touch the grass on the other side of that, and the fence is about 85 feet. So that's going to be our guidelines, and if we don't make it to that, I may measure that, but hopefully everything's going to make it at least to the road, and if they don't, we'll get an idea of where they're going. So buckle up, hang on, here we go. Start out with the cheapest spool of the bunch, cheapest probably reel, because you can get various reels that they sell a DIY spool for that'll fit. But and all we can manage to do is get to almost where that blue flag is. So I think that's right about 50 feet. So we're going to call that good. I don't want to try it anymore. It's a DIY spool with that one. So I'll show you real quick what I'm doing. I'm jumping from that, and I'll do it to all these reels, but I will definitely speed up the process with the other reels. We're going to go to this guy, get him out there, and I'll throw until I feel comfortable, make one I could call. And I instantly hit the street, no problems with backlashing or anything. That's at least 55 feet. It's right about 55 feet. easily into the street, probably 56, 57 feet. So this reel would work good enough if I was using it, you know, out fishing in a boat anyway. And I didn't need, you know, I could slowly work along the banks fishing with this shaky head. The next reel, this is the megabass Zonda Rosa 68. It does have, that is the spool out of the hedgehog Zonda, not the chrome one that you can get. It was the all black spool, but it's a BFS shallow spool. So, and it almost hits the street. This is definitely probably my overall favorite, easiest to cast BFS reel that I own, spool, I guess you could say. And you see we hit the road just past the white line. So it already cast about 10 foot further than the DIY spool did. And the line is roughly the same line. It's just cheap line off eBay. It's that cheap line that you can get for, it's very cheap. It's just a few, $3 to $5 a spool. That's what I've got on most of these. It's either Cast King or there's a few other names. Some of it doesn't even have a name. But as you can see, it was cast with ease. I've had this one set though for how I use it. It's getting about 56, 57 feet. No problem with that. It's getting about as far as the DIY Race Studio spool did with the other bait, the bigger bait. So that's pretty good. You could use it throwing crappie jigs to crappie, perch, whatever. This is what I usually fish with, the BFS setup. We're gonna see. After traffic clears, I don't want to buy any windshields or car windows. And the wind just blew real hard. That blew it back, but it barely hit the street. I don't know if you guys could hear it. That wind picked up big time right when I cast. And you can see I'm not having any issues with backlashing. And the wind is blowing kind of at me now. I can feel it in my face. And it's really not casting this much further than the crappie jig. Maybe just a foot. But that's why I said this one cast amazing, but I was getting the best distance is actually from the Revo Ltx. There's a good one. Hit the yellow, just barely hit the yellow line. You guys probably can't see that far out, but you guys are probably wanting to see what this one will do. This is the cosugi spool, and you just saw the megabass spool, and you'll be able to see as far as with me casting them anyway and how I have them set, if this thing will outdo the megabass or vice versa. Now this one definitely cast, it just hit the road. It feels easier, like I have to almost regulate it, and I do have the brakes up. I don't know if I showed you on the megabass when I had it set at 5. This one doesn't have a safe 5, but halfway's right there, and I've got it actually to almost 6. And it still is like a freer sounding and feeling spool. It isn't quite hitting the road. There we go. We just crossed the line, so it's almost even. They're pretty much about the same, but I honestly feel this one I have to watch it more. It's like if I don't stop it instantly, it's going to do a little more backlashing than what, for whatever reason, that megabass one is just, you can almost just, where it's set at, how I have it set. And I've tried to play with this one, but this is about the best casting distance you get. And you see, I don't know if you can see that hopping there. It's right there about 55, 57, somewhere in that area, about the same as the megabass, but the megabass just does it so much easier without worrying about it backlashing. I still say this one's probably a little freer, if you guys know what I'm talking about, a little more wild than the megabass, but as far as ease of throwing, and probably the one I like throwing the most would be the megabass. But, well, let me get it untangled here. Let's jump right to, oh boy. You guys ever have one of those days? Anyway, We're not having one of those days yet, but some of this braid, this is old braid too, if you haven't noticed. It's used all the last year, faded out. It was cheap stuff. It's probably due for a change. Let's just see if this throws my favorite thing to throw with BFS gear any better. And yeah, I think once you add a little more weight, you know, 16th ounce and maybe a hair lighter, the megabass is going to throw easier. But this cosugi, I don't know if you guys can see that, it's easier to throw this worm. Of course the wind's died down too, but in the last season of fishing it, this one in the Ltx just seems to throw a little more weight easier than the megabass one. But the megabass one throws the real light stuff overall easier, and you get about the same distance. I think I'm getting a couple more feet with this cosugi spool. Yeah, I can almost hit the other side of the street that last cast. So far that, for what I use the purpose for, this one's the best. It's almost even with the 16th ounce if you were, say, just using the lightest baits possible as the megabass, but I think it excels with once you get into a little more weight. And last but not least, I know you guys on TP, I know you guys on BFS on Facebook like this thing. TP guys, for some reason, they don't like Abu Garcia near as much. There's only a handful of us on there, but now time for this guy. And hopefully, I've got the dial all the way up because this is the one I mentioned I need to put, it doesn't have quite enough of the little round magnets in there. So all the way up is still not quite enough brakes. So you have to watch it occasionally. But we almost hit the road. I was kind of being easy on how I threw it. Come on. And I'm tangled up. Baby girl, you hate it when that happens. So this time, well, we got a car. Baby, what are you eating? Look at you. All right, here we go. And we just touched the white line on the road. So it's right there about where all of them seem to be as far as the daiwa reels with the different spools. Well, now we're halfway on this lane of the road, so just a touch further maybe than the daiwas. And see, it's getting 57, 8 feet, so probably just a foot further, but it seems to be easier. I don't know if you guys can see. It's hitting the road where the megabass spool, where the cosugi spool was hitting, but I don't know. This one just seems to, let me try to get, and a lot of times if you want a perfect cast, there's always cars in your way. But anyway, yeah, see, it's out there. You guys would have to be here to see what I'm talking about, but it's just like the ease of casting without like a fear of backlash kind of thing is this reel for sure with the lightest, but then this reel loses some, but it casts the other stuff better. But then this guy, I don't know, overall, I'm hoping it'll stand true with what I'm casting here. When I'm out fishing with my favorite bait to fish, this thing here, yeah, see how we hit the yellow line? Just seems to gets the distance and the no fear of backlashing. See how I'm halfway on the other side of the road, so that would probably be 65 maybe, close to 70 feet. And there we hit almost on the other side of the road, almost to the other white line. So each thing I'm casting gets about, it's getting a few feet to 3 feet further, about a yard further. All right, guys, so there you have it. 2018 BFS shootout is over. I didn't have every BFS reel that's out there. Might do a rod shootout at some point if I buy more, but like I figured would be for me anyway, and you guys, if you want to buy all these different reels and try it for yourself, this guy right here just works. It's lightweight. The spool, also go back to my first video on BFS. I did a shootout, like the, I can't remember the exact name for it. I'll try to put it here in the, up here somewhere. I weighed the spools on some of these guys that I had at the time, and this was definitely the lightest spool. That's probably why I like it better. It casts overall better. The startup, you know, you got that lightweight, and the getting it started is what counts on BFS. So anyway, guys, hope you like that. Good out there. Go bass fishing, go bonsaiing, whatever you do, bass and bonsai. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and like always, guys,